Oh my god. They're gonna fuck it up. They're gonna fuck it up. I just know it. I might sound like a hater, I know. But trust me, I'd like nothing more than to be teeming with hope for the new show. But considering the track record of live action anime/animation, oh yeah, in my eyes I consider ATLA more on the side of shonen anime to be honest, but same difference really when it comes to Netflix fucking it up. And no, I didn't forget about that one piece of exception. But no, one well-received adaptation is not enough to convince me that Netflix is any good at what they do. Anyhow, as I nervously wait for the new live-action Avatar reimagining, as they're calling it, I can't help but feel preemptively sad and nostalgic about the original show. So, I give it a rewatch for the 100th time, and it just felt that extra bit special. You know, special in the kind of way where you appreciate what you have, because you know you'll never get anything like it again. So I thought I would take that appreciation, encapsulate it into this video, and tell you all about my favorite episode in one of my dearest shows, The Desert. There are so many aspects about this beloved show that I can quote as to why it's one of my all-time faves. Its beautiful teaching moments, themes, animation, lore, storytelling, interesting three-dimensional characters, I can go on forever. But thinking back to when I first watched it as a kid, the reason I fell in love with Avatar was for how unbelievably hilarious it was. No matter what age I rewatch it, there always seems to be a new level of comedy for me to unearth. Get it? Unearth? Yeah, rocks, earthbending. The way the expert voice acting, off-kilter line delivery, and exaggerated animation came together always left me borderline wheezing and my belly hurting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't count you. You know, no bending and all.
I can still fight!
Even the little things, like timing and blink and you'll miss it one frame moments, add such humor and flair to the characters we love. And throughout the show, when the animation quality got better, so followed the goofiness. In saying all that, it doesn't get much better than what's on display in this episode. Let's not kid ourselves. You all know exactly what part I'm talking about.
Suit yourself. It's very thirst-quenching, though. Drink cactus juice. It'll quench you. Nothing's quenchier. It's the quenchiest.
Okay, I think you've had enough.
Seeing Sokka and Momo get completely shit-faced on some cactus juice never fails to amuse me. Let's just make things clear. Cactus juice is essentially magic mushrooms, and Sokka and Momo are on the fucking moon in this episode. Having dilated pupils, talking nonsense,
Friendly mushroom! Mushy giant friend!
seeing hallucinations,
How did we get out here in the middle of the ocean?
and getting unnecessarily paranoid at the smallest things.
It was you! You ratted me out!
Sokka, I was there.
The Momo and Sokka pairing just works too perfectly for this scenario. These two are like Dumb and Dumber. And the fact that Sokka is always at his funniest when doing anything but actually trying to be funny just sends me into hysterics.
Looks like Long Fang is long gone! Yeah, I've been waiting to use that one.
Such wonderful writing for the character. This episode encapsulates everything I adore about the goofy, oddball humor of ATLA, and with my favorite characters at the helm of it.
Water Tribe.
Don't forget Momo-san. Just look at them. What are they? What a silly little... Now there's no doubt in my mind. Sokka is definitely a bender. A laugh bender?
What? It was pretty funny.
Okay, I'll stop now. One thing I did pick up on my adult rewatches of the show was just how gutsy the writers were with their humor. I know it's become a bit of a trend in the past decade for cartoons to be a bit edgier, but back when this came out, it was relatively unseen. A kids show with the audacity to sneakily reference shrooms, BDSM, and even make blind jokes is wild to me. But adult me appreciates it very much. Now obviously anyone who's seen the episode and the show knows that despite the moments of hilarity and unseriousness, the desert is actually quite a pivotal time for Aang and even Katara. as Aang battles with emotional anguish after losing his iceberg amigo Appa, and Katara musters all her motherly powers to get the gang out of the desert in one piece. This episode is the perfect example of ATLA's ability to balance lighthearted moments with more serious storytelling. This balance of comedic and emotional moments is such a wonderful lesson the creators of this show have taught us from the very beginning. To make sure to have a bit of laughter in your life, even in tough times. If Avatar has taught me anything, is that life is all about the balance. An attribute of Katara's that's been famously used to tease her throughout the show was given the spotlight in this episode. The writers flipped the script and made the viewers and the gang realize just how important her motherly nagging actually is. The episode sets up this teaching moment perfectly by taking away a crucial element from each of the gang. Sokka loses his sharp mind, Toph loses her seismic sense, and Aang loses his calm and hopeful nature. And even Momo loses his Momo-ness, leaving Katara to pick up the pieces. Considering she's actually in the most opposite of her element, being in a dry desert where it's almost impossible to find water, she holds her nerve and exhibits great inner strength, showing off her motherly abilities to keep the gang together and Aang from setting off a sandstorm. Katara is obviously an extremely powerful waterbending master, but her true strength lies in her ability to be hopeful, loving, and resilient, quite literally holding her family's hand along the way. She's seen rationing water without drinking any herself. She remains standing as the rest of the gang collapse for the night. Just some great visual cues of her strength and sacrifice. And she does it without any help or recognition either. Like when coming up with the resourceful idea of siphoning the water cloud, Aang lashes out and targets Katara, questioning what is she doing.
What's anyone else doing? What are you doing?
When in fact, she's done the most. But she doesn't shout back or get annoyed. She exercises patience. With the exception of Sokka, of course, but come on, siblings, am I right?
You've been hallucinating on cactus juice all day, and then you just lick something you find stuck to the wall of a cave?
I have a natural curiosity.
Now I'm certain most of you can agree. Moms have an almost infinite source of patience. I know mine does. Shout out to the moms watching this. Katara knows firsthand the importance of patience in comforting those who've lost loved ones, having experienced it herself when her mother was killed. As she holds onto Aang's hand, Katara's expression isn't one of judgment or fear, but of genuine understanding and empathy. She's been there. She knows what it's like to lose someone so dear. Even though it's an almost unrecognizable rendition of our favorite happy-go-lucky, shiny, bald-headed monk.
You got a bald head, some nice tattoos. You're going to fit in real well around here.
Angster, as I like to call him, is so fucking awesome. One of, if not the most rage-filled versions of Aang we've ever seen. And it's entirely justified. He's just a kid, remember. He's entitled to have an outburst, especially in a case like this. He's mortified at the notion he may have lost the last member of his tribe. The only person that still attaches him to his culture and his roots. His oldest friend in the entire world, Appa.
Appa! 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 Appa!
Appa?
Appa and Aang have an inseparable connection. They literally dream of each other when apart. Their energies are mixed, as Guru Patik says. Technically though, isn't Aang the second Last Airbender? Because Appa is an airbender too, don't forget. Aang is just unapologetic, ruthless, and a mess in this episode. Having a row at all his friends, barely showing a smile, and delivering my favorite line.
Maybe we can find some sandbenders.
Literal chills. Think about it for a second. He's not suggesting maybe we can find Appa. He's out for blood. He wants to cripple some sandbenders. I love it. Gangster is up there with Detective Sokka as my favorite alter egos in ATLA. It really shows this character in a totally different light. Credit again to the masterful writing of this show. All the characters have such depth to them. Such a fucking thug life moment when he's mean mugging that buzzard wasp after he slashes it down for trying to take Momo. Evil Aang would be a problem. I don't think we've ever seen Aang be purposefully vengeful before. It goes completely against his creed.
Monks used to say that revenge is like a two-headed rat viper. While you watch your enemy go down, you're being poisoned yourself.
But who you see here isn't Aang. It's someone else. And Momo is literally all of us in that moment. But it's relieving to see that after all that aggression, vengeance, and sorrow has bent Aang out of shape, he just crumbles into Katara's arms, exhausted. This episode also does a wonderful job at demonstrating one of the biggest themes of the show, friendship. Not just about how hurtful it is to lose a close friend, but how friendship isn't just about the moments of joy and laughter. It's also about navigating through rough patches and overcoming challenges together. And don't think I forgot about our two favorite Atman, because Uncle Iroh too reaps the benefits of having trustworthy friends when you can't rely on anyone else. Oh yeah, also I might be talking out of my ass here, but when that dude kicks down everything but the door, we see 5 seats. For the 5 main White Lotus members, I wonder? Look, I don't think they all trekked down just for that one meeting, but it could have been a nod, a foreshadowing, possibly? Come on, give it to me. It's understandable why a situation like this would throw Aang off balance as much as it did. Such moments of dysfunctional behavior are crucial for our main character's development, and it's natural that losing Appa would trigger such a reaction. Sure, it could have been Katara and have elicited a similar if not harsher reaction, but keeping her by his side strengthens their bond moving forward. It highlights that even the almighty Avatar, the deliverer of hope to the world, also needs it himself sometimes. Hey, thanks for sticking to the end. Here's some lychee nuts. I do hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what your favorite episode is, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and as always, appreciate you watching.